And then I'm going to touch on some of the solutions provided. And then lastly, we'll open it up, as mentioned, to some questions and answers. I'm first going to touch on our group. So in Belimo, all customization is handled by what we call the Market Channel Solutions team. So walking you from the top to the bottom, our team consists of my manager, his name's Michael Bracero, myself, and then Anne-Marie Blanchette. So Michael oversees our group, and he's instrumental in customer relationships, aligning any of the internal resources that we need, and then providing some lean in anytime we've got, something new that's come up or really outside of the box, or, we just need that heavy hand. Basically, if it can be done, Michael's the guy to make it happen. Anne-Marie is our key account manager. She handles the keys who tend to be, some of our larger customers. They have multiple locations, varying service and distribution centers. And then I handle the regional guys. So some examples of them would include Nortec, Multistack, Silent Air, Accutrol. And the regionals, we kind of run the gamut. So we can take care of some really small size customers all the way on up to the big boys. So why would you want to choose customization? Well, I think it really boils down to all of the value add that we offer to you guys. So for those of you who are familiar with Belimo, you know that when you purchase a Belimo product, you're getting a quality product. I mean, this is really the reason that we can offer the kind of warrantying that we do. Belimo is also known for being an innovator and a leader in our industry. We have the capability to focus in and develop with a really honed in drive. In the focused markets that we serve, we do actuators, valves, and sensors. We're constantly coming up with new honed-in solutions based off of mature, proven platforms. We take also customer input, which I'm going to speak to in the next few slides. And we're one of the few companies that I can speak to that really just reinvest a lot of money. Annually, we reinvest about 6 to 7% for new development. So when you're talking about, this really honed in subsegment of products that we service, that's huge. So taking all that value, we also, bring together this option of customization where you guys can really just make it your own. So as I mentioned before, we're always taking input from the field, so you guys, to make sure that we're bringing the best and the most cutting edge products to the market. And we're able to do this using a little acronym that we call CSM. So really, as you see here, it just stands for comfort, efficiency, safety, installation, maintenance. But the thing is, when we're launching a new base product from the floor up, or if we're sitting down with you one-on-one, kind of hashing it out and customizing, the Belimo way is to really just kind of take into mind what's going to be the most effective and positive solution for you guys. So we're always working with and looking to you guys for considerations like, what's going to be the easiest way to install this? So maybe that's plug and play. Or from a maintenance perspective, what kind of access do you have? Or should there even really be maintenance? Maybe we just make it maintenance free. So depending on where the product is going, we're also going to want to talk about, safety considerations and compliances that you need to meet. So maybe UL, or maybe it's a life safety, fire and smoke application. We touch on efficiency, and we've got a lot of really cool tools that we can share with you guys. What those tools basically do is show the end user, your customer, over the given course of using our products, what kind of savings you're going to see come back to, them. Because that really is the bottom line, what's going to be in their pocket at the end of the day. And then finally, comfort. We're an HVAC manufacturing company, so obviously comfort is the name of the game. But really, when we're sitting down and we're talking to you about customization, what we want to know is, as we're working on this together, are you comfortable with the solution that we're providing? Are you comfortable with the support that you're getting? We really just want to, bring that value add and, make sure that you're happy. So once again, why choose customization? Well, I really think the answer here is that it's based off of the relationship that we build and then coming together as a team where we can take this proven product and then we make it, your own. And then of course, there's always the benefits as listed here of being able to rely upon us. So we've got, technical information, support, we've got testing capabilities, testing information. We really work with you. We also have an internal edict that, once a product's customized, that product then belongs to you. So really what I mean by this is that, like, let's say we get a call from your end user. We would direct them right back to you. The benefit here is that you're going to be able to capture any open questions. You're also going to be able to capture any of those replacement sales. And as I mentioned before, now that that product is your own, nobody else is going to be able to purchase it. Not a customer, not a competitor. It would only be with, you guys explicitly saying, hey, yes, I would like so-and-so to buy my product, that anybody else is going to be able to acquire that item. So now that I've went through the benefits, I'd like to discuss some of the most common requests that our group generally sees. So one of the first and easiest ways to get yourself a custom product is just requesting a suffix change. So basically, you're just going to take some meaningful letters to your company, and then we're going to tack them on the end of our standard Belimo part number. Another common option is customers come in for bulk packaging. Many times, if you're ordering certain SKUs in mass, it makes more sense from a waste reduction standpoint. Maybe there's some accessories that you don't use, we can exclude those. Maybe there are some accessories that you want included and kitted in there. We can add that in for you too. The next two items that are probably the most popular that I see would be labeling and cabling. These two items I find really kind of allow you to make it your own. So for cabling, we see varying lengths, connections, and even styles of connections. By this, I mean like a whip or maybe like an actual terminal connector. And then labeling brings with it some really cool opportunities. There's wide ranges of colors, detailed logos, and then, coming up with basically any part number that you like, maybe you use it in your own drawings. Some other special requests that I see would be, housing related. A lot of our OEMs and customized options tend to be gray, versus our standard orange. Then there's the marrying together of valves and actuators that you might not find in the PGPL. Maybe you do it because, you need a certain fit. Actuator's a little smaller, you want to see if that works. And another option would be customized programming. Again, maybe you look in the PGPL, you see our X version has, certain ranges, and you want something that you're just not quite seeing as a program option, just give us a call. We can generally accommodate. So as I explained the custom options on the prior page, I'm going to dig into some of the types of information that I would generally be looking to you guys for. And I'll offer a little bit of, tips so that you can have that information more easily ready when sales is asking you about that. So the first on the list is labeling. And as mentioned, there's a lot of cool color options. The sky's the limit when it comes to coloring. As far as information that I would just need to know the Pantone color that you're looking at. Same goes for print coloring. If you have anything special that you want, you just tell us that Pantone color and we can readily get it for you. If you're going to be adding a suffix to make it your own, again, just the 2 to 3 letters that you desire. We're going to run a quick check just to make sure that somebody else doesn't have it and it's reserved. And if they don't, it's yours. And then logoing, we would just need an EPS file and we run it from there. Many a time you're going to find that your marketing department actually has a packet with all of this information, sizing, placement, coloring, the Pantone numbering. So it's really just kind of easy for you to grab it and patch it right over. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, for customers who do want to use their own specific part number, we're going to go ahead and talk you through some of the UL considerations, and I'm going to speak to those in the next slides, just so you have a heads up, but totally doable. So as mentioned, there's a couple scenarios that we talk about with, part numbering, UL, and multiple listings that have to be taken into account when going the custom route. So this first scenario is one where you would go down the multiple listing paths. So let's say you need UL, but you'd like to have a completely custom actuator where Belimo isn't referenced at all. You want your own logo, you want your own basic item part number. So we would capture all of that information in the product opening. And basically a product opening is just the conduit to get you your custom item. I will describe the process a little bit later. But anyways, the real thing to take away here is that, you'd have to file and there would be an additional 3-week lead time on top of the general 8-week opening average. There are also some costs associated with this, and that for UL alone generally runs around $3,000 to open a file. So the next scenario I'm going to describe, it's still custom, but it ties itself closely enough to Belimo that you would actually avoid going down that multiple list path. So you'd save some time, you'd save some money, just some things to consider. So here again, you're going to need UL, but maybe in this case, you don't mind if the Belimo logo stays on, and you don't mind if there's the basic item number. So basically tying that kind of suffix on. So in this case, we're going to do something that's really simple involving our variant configurator. So basically that's just like an SAP thing, but what we do is we create for you a customized CMAT, customer number. And the process for this is really, very fast, 2 weeks. Then there's a third option that blends together the best of the prior slide and this slide. So here again, you don't have to multiple list, but you could have your customer part number in bold and your customer logo. The only catch is that underneath it, you would need to just allow us to place our Belimo part number so it would still tie and our UL file number. Again, all three are good options. It really just depends on, what you're comfortable with as a company sharing, with your customers. So second to labeling comes deviations in cabling. So in general, when you desire a special cable, we're traditionally just going to ask you for a print. Some of the areas for differentiation on your print might be the cable length, maybe some connectors. I mean, really, you can virtually select any connector. What we would want to know from you if you're doing so is that housing and that pin part number. Again, in that print, it would be nice to have the pins laid out where you want them in relation to the housing. And then we take this information and package it together for engineering. Now, as you see on the slide here, there's a little bit of a side note. Cabling does come with it, a bit of a longer lead time. So in many cases, what's going to happen is when I share this with engineering, they might come back and they might give us a similar from a fit, form, and function recommendation. We'd patch that back to you because if you have the ability to shore down the lead time and it's going to work in the same manner, a lot of times, that might be a really good route for you. So, something to consider. Again, it's your choice. If you have a reason for sticking with the exact housing and pinning that you suggested, we'll certainly do that for you as well. So in this slide here, just to kind of highlight, I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to options. We'll pretty much work with any connector given the right kind of volume. So for those of you buying in quantity, we have the bulk option. You can basically pick varying quantities, and depending on the parts that you're using or maybe that you're not using, as mentioned before, we can include or we can strip some of those items. It's definitely a nice option for waste reduction, ease of handling. I've had some customers come in and give me, custom weight requirements. Maybe they are part of a union and they can't have, their employees lifting too much weight. Other customers for, shelving purposes will give me some dimensions and say what amount can I get to fit in this kind of a box, so we can do that. And then there's like the ease of ordering, instead of having to come in every week, you can just maybe once a month push an order for a bulk pack through. So now that I've hit on some of the details that we would need from you for a custom item, I'm going to talk for a minute just about some of the thresholds. So before, when I was saying about just the small tweak to the part number, basically that's an easy process. That doesn't have any minimum threshold. But when we start to talk about changes to, say, cabling, labeling, kitting, stuff like that, generally what we like to see is about 500 pieces per year usage. You also see on here for housing colors, as I mentioned, we have orange and we have gray. That is the one area where we have a much higher threshold. And there, if you want something in pink, we can certainly do it, but it would be more towards that 10,000 piece range. And then again, I mean, the numbers here, just take into mind, it's not set in stone. A lot of times what we'll do is if we have a customer come in, we'll take into account your overall business. We'll take into account future possibilities. Maybe you came in with a package. So, it's always worth reaching out to your sales guys or the distributors who then distributor reps to contact us to see, what can we do for you? So now I'm going to touch on the product opening process. So this process always begins with you guys. Given some of the options that I just talked about, maybe even other ideas that you might have, you would want to reach out then to, your sales contact. So for the OEMs, I know you have assigned regional sales managers, key account managers. For anybody who's in like distributorship, you just reach out to your local DSM and they can in turn get in contact with us as well. What's going to happen from there is sales is going to sit down with you and they're going to talk about the products, the tweaks to the products that you want. They're going to discuss with you, what kind of volumes and quantities for each given SKU. How does your product look? How does your project look? Is there a, big ramp up in the beginning? How does that all lay out? They're going to talk with you about pricing, looking for some targets. Maybe if you've already got something in place and you're looking to switch to us, that kind of a conversation. Once they capture all of that, they're going to package it up and turn it over to us, the Market Channel Solutions team. So from there, we're just going to button that up and begin to connect with engineering and many of the other departments, say planning, vendors that may be required to get this item up for you. While all this is going on, there's still going to be a lot of contact with you, especially in the beginning. We may have some open questions, as I mentioned before, perhaps about your cabling print, or if we have a similar option that we'd like to offer you. If we're doing some customized label, we are going to take that artwork and we're going to ask for your approval. Or maybe if we think of a solution that might be a little bit better for the application that you've described, we're going to come back and we're going to let you know that. So then, as all of the pieces from there begin to fall into place and your product becomes real, we're then going to perform what we call a verification. So basically, that's just like a little checklist, and it says, this is the list of requirements the customer gave to us. This is everything we agreed upon. This is the final product. Does it all match? If yes, we then release the product to you for sale. So as sales is sitting down with you and we're talking about opening this custom product, some of the questions that you might get asked are, of course, first and foremost, what changes are you making? Maybe it's the runtime, the programming, control signal feedback, something like that. They're going to ask about housing colors. Again, many of our OEMs like to go with gray versus traditional orange. Warranty details that you would like. Although we at Belimo definitely offer that 5-year warranty, and on some products, even 7. Maybe you only offer a 1-year warranty and that's all you'd like displayed. We can definitely tweak that for you so that's all the customer would see. Of course, packaging, is there anything that you want included maybe in a bulk pack, anything you want excluded, or do you just want single guys? And then, of course, as I mentioned, forecast details, project information, initial order quantities, just to kind of button that up so that when it's ready, we can hand it off as you would anticipate it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase just a couple of our capabilities on some projects that we have run through this recent year. So really what I want to show and speak to here is the fact that, we've taken some of our larger customers and we have touched on all of our products, be it airside actuators, CCV, valve actuator combinations, and sensors. And with each of these customers, what we've done is we've walked through that process that I've just described to you. And we have tailored for each of them, customized solutions, be it specially colored labels or perhaps components that are also colored differently than the traditional Belimo way, so we could tweak it and make it their own. I'm very proud of these projects. These were larger projects that our sales team really dug their teeth into, and we've provided a lot of technical research and a lot of engineering testing for these customers. And I think, we've built with them a really solid relationship. And I think the point that I'd mostly like to get across to you here is that we'd also love to dig in and, create that kind of a joint relationship with you as well. So as we're coming closer to a close, what I really want you guys to think of is Belimo as a complete solution provider, a custom solution provider. So as you know, complete package, Belimo offers our standardized product line. You can find all of this information in our PGPL. You can find it online and then via Select Pro. But really, if you don't see something in here and you do want it, definitely just come in and ask. We've been able to bring to the market and customers a couple of different solutions that maybe, weren't in the catalog and we didn't even offer, but it was something that there was a need, so we did the research. Great examples include, potable water, varying stainless steel butterfly valves for corrosive environments, and then even different styles of valves depending on maybe the country that your final product is going to be going into. So really what I want to drive into is, always just ask. We're more than happy to do the research. And that's going to pretty much bring me to a close. So what I'd like to do at this point is open it up to some questions and answers.
Excellent. Thank you, Robin, so much. Before we move on to questions, please remember to follow Belimo on social media to keep informed about what's going on. At this time, I do encourage you to type any questions into the question box. I will ask them aloud. We do have a couple that have come in already. And if we do not get, again, that Robin will answer them via email after the presentation. The first question, Robin, is if I would like to pursue a custom item, who should I contact?
Okay, so if you'd like to get a custom item, you should reach out to, if you're an OEM or a key account, your regional OEM sales manager. And if you are, say, like in distributorship, you could just get in contact with your DSM, RSM, and they will collect the information as I described before and kind of take it from there.
Excellent, thank you. Can any of the products offered be made custom?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any of them can when we're marrying together different valve actuator assemblies that aren't in the catalog or, any of our actuators and even our sensors, we're broaching that way. So yeah.
Okay. What is the typical lead time for a custom item?
So once a custom item is officially set up as a finished good, it actually falls in line with the same lead times as any of our stock items. So, 3 days, 3 to 5 days.
Okay, we have one more question that has come in. Does Belimo offer IO Link products?
IO Link products, yes. I think so. Actually, let me get back to you on that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Robin. That's all that has come in so far. So I do encourage you to please type your questions in and we will run a report and get back to you after today's presentation. I'd also like to thank Robin again for presenting today. And remember, if you'd like a copy of this webinar, you can also go to our Belimo YouTube page and get it there, or email myself at training@us.belimo.com. Also, please look for additional webinar invites early in 2021. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks.